So once again, good morning. The topic for today is about introduction to networks. No? Of course, networking or a computer network or data network is a telecommunication network which allow computers to exchange data. So in computer networks, network computing devices pass data to each other along network links. No? So the connection between modes are established using either cable media or wireless media. So the best known as computer network is the internet. Okay? So computer networks support applications such as access to the World Wide Web, shared use of application and storage servers, printers and fax machines, and use of email and instant messaging applications. So to give us more insights and discussion related to introduction to networks, yes, go ahead, Sir Guerrero. Take it away.
Okay, bago po ako mag-start, this is a pre-recorded po kasi yesterday we were having technical problems dito sa bahay. So, basically ako rin po naman yung nagpe-present dito. But if you have any questions, let's discuss this after the video po. Thank you po. I'll be starting it now.
Good morning. I will be your presenter for today. My name is Mr. Pepito Nite Guerrero. Kung bakit Nite, mabang po ito. So, hindi kasama sa record yun. Pero pag-usapan natin one day. Okay. Before we start, let me tell something about myself. John. Currently, nagtuturo po ako sa MNHS. I'm dyan sa Montilupa National High School. I'm a teacher too. And also, I'm a full stack software developer. Basically, yun po. Mahilig po akong magturo and kaya ako nahilig at syempre maging turo. So, let's proceed with the report. Okay, so what is networking? Basically, it's connecting computers to form a local area or LAN. Device sharing, so yung purpose ng LAN is sharing of hardware, software, and information. So yung hardware, siyempre, like printers, scanners, and everything. Yung mga share natin. Software, download, or specific programs and information yung mga data natin. Simple network. So, again, sorry yung ating medyo pagka-high-tech yung picture natin. Okay, so this is simple setup ng network. So, we have 4 interconnected computers na nag-share sa, I think, printer or fax machine. So, ito yung basic setup natin ng isang network. And we have a local and wide area network. So, early network were custom built, connecting a dozen of computers. Only 1 or 2 peripherals. By the way, peripherals also pertains to the hardware that will be used to share. So, printer lang yan, malamang, or scanner. So, the early Ethernet is consisting of 30 users and a total span of 601. Local area network or LAN, a single collection of machine and peripherals. By the way, I will not be tackling the topologies. I think may magre-report para. So let's continue on. Generally less than 1,000 computers. Span generally less than 250 meters. Basic building block for larger networks and inter networks. So yung LAN daw is pinaka starting point ng isa sa mga malalaking networks like MAN or Metropolitan Wide Area Network and yung WAN. So discuss natin yung dito. So we have internet works and intra networks. Before we proceed, linawin ko lang, internet works is not the same as internet. Okay, may ibang may ibang explanation, but let me finish this first. A network of networks, okay, a network of collection of LANs, more than one floor in a business. That is an internet network, multiple buildings, or campus environment. Usually kasi pag sinabing campus environment, especially sa US, maraming semi-building siya. Parang isang marami silang mga departments. Unlike sa schools natin. I think sa UP parang ganun din. Pero yun yung parang list niya yung marami siyang buildings. Okay, so now we have the wide area network. So spans 4 miles of distance, malayuan siya, 2 or more separate locations. So down the road or across the road. So ito yung ito yung tinatawag natin ngayon na internet. So it's based on a wide area network setup. So ayan na, we have the internet. This is a one internet network. So hindi na siya millions, no? Billions of computers, or rather machines worldwide. Kahit hindi computers. Kasi di ba, meron na tayo mga cellphones, mga smartphones, or other devices na pwede connected. So we call them machines. And also we have the World Wide Web. Are you familiar naman kay www? So we have networking terminology. We have the client and server relationship. Whereas, yung client natin, siya yung nagre-request ng shared resources. And the server responds and shares the resources. Ito yung basic natin, or basic presentation. So, computer 1 is a client. Ginagawa niya is nagko-connect siya. Client connects to the request server, and then the server responds to the user. So ito yung ating computer tool, that is our server. Okay. Client server networks concentrate CPU power and storage. Windows, that is for Windows NT server and Windows Server 20XX. So meron tayong mga, I think ako nakahawakan ito is 2002 server, 2008, 2012. Yung medyo bago, hindi ako nakahawak na. Pero basically, sila yung operating system ng ating server. Okay. And we have the peer-to-peer, medyo obsolete na siya. So, in a nutshell, ang peer-to-peer is, for example, we have one computer, we're using a medium, either switch out or direkta lang, no? Peer-to-peer, makakonect siya. So, cable-to-cable connection lang yan. So, ginagamit natin siya sa Windows 95, 98, 2000, at XP. Siguro, yung mga vehicles natin, mas wala pa. Pero, yun nga, siya yung panahon na yan, yung ginagamit. Share ko lang din with regards to peer-to-peer. So, I think this is around the early 90s. No? I don't know if anybody ever heard of the BBS or yung bulletin board system. Usually ginagamit yun. This is a basic example of the peer-to-peer system. Kumbaga, ang setup natin nun is we have the modem and we have yung ating telephone line. So, kung connect ako, dial up to your telephone number. So, parang internet din, pero ang file sharing natin ay isa-isa lang. So, kung ano yung, for example, ako yung host or ako yung server, kukonekta yung client, which is yung carrier na tinatawag natin. Kukonekta siya akin and we can have file sharing. Pwede siyang pumunta ng file sa akin, pwede siyang mag-upload, we can chat. Parang basically, wala pang internet ng panahon na sa Pilipinas pa. Yun yung parang foundation. Chat mo lang. Thank you. So we have simple network needs. We have medium to carry the data, a network adapter or NIC, protocols, and client-server software. Medium to carry data is the storage. Yung adapter natin or NIC is the tinatawag natin itong most tinatawag natin for more familiar tayo in a term na pangalan niya ay LAN card, protocol, yung mga TCP/IP natin, etc. Discuss din natin yan later on. And we have the client and server software. Ito yung mga operating system. Nite area network, media, medium media, carries network messages, connect machines together on a network. So meron tayong medium. Yung mga ginagamit natin na connector. So 4 types, we have the metallic cable or coaxial. So sinabi natin data, hindi siya ginagamit. Then we have the twisted pair or the unshielded twisted pair. Di-discuss ko yan in details later sa hardware. We have the fiber optic and lastly, we have the wireless. Ayan, so we have the network interface card or the NIC o yung tinatawag natin LAN card. So we have physical link between machines and network, connection between machine and medium, and also known as network adapter. We have network protocols, common set of communication rules, identify oneself on other networks and interpret the signals, begin and end of network communication, manage network information exchange. So ano yung mga protocols natin? We have TCP/IP, we have the IP, marami yan. So discuss natin later, ha? Ayan, we have network protocols. We have TCP/IP for the internet, IPX, SPX, and NW link for the local. I think this is already obsolete kasi hindi na natin ginagamit yung IPX, SPX. Then, we have the net viewing, and we have the for Microsoft. Pero ngayon kasi wala nang net viewing, no? Pinalitan na siya ng IPv4 and IPv6. Those are also for the internet connection. Pero again, hindi po ako expert din sa mga LAN protocols. Maybe we can discuss this later. Yung mga, kung meron ako na nagtawan. Okay, so this is a Windows client. So I think this is a Windows 98 to XP setup. Again, nakikita natin dito yung mga network protocols. We have yung client, novel software, SMT. So wala na lahat to. Ang natira na lang dito, I think, is TCP/IP. Pero I think TCP/IP is already replaced by the IPv4 and IPv6. So yun yung mga lumang protocols natin. Network software are programs that create access the network. So network operating system or NOS are to follow. Windows NT and Novel Network for the intra-network. Again, hindi na ako familiar kay Novel ngayon kasi we're still using the Windows Server. So if ever may gumagamit pa, I think this is already obsolete. Pero I don't know. Kasi meron na rin software si Cisco na nilabas and hindi na rin ako updated. So maybe again, you can have some feedback for those Cisco related materials. This is a client and server component. Network layers. So network application. Sa ating network medium, which again would be translated to the interface, protocol, software, and application. So, ganyan yung ating layers of networking process. Application, software, protocol, and interface. So, we have the network types. First, we have the peer-to-peer. Again, ito yung obsolete. Pero I don't know if it's still being used. Siguro may gumagamit for personal use. Pero again, for the industry-wise, wala, I can assure you, mostly wala nang nagamit dito. So ano ba yung peer-to-peer? Yun nga yung connection from one computer to another. So, we have Windows 98 and 2000. Sama na rin natin si 95 dyan. And yung unang-unang software, or rather, unang-unang Windows na nahawakan ko, which is Windows for Workgroups. Siguro this is around early 90s. Ayoko na mag-ano ng date at malalaman natin ang edad ko. So, yun, basta gano'n na lang siya. So, we have the client server or server-based. We have Windows NT, Windows Server 20. Again, yung 2000 series, the Novell, and the Unix and the Linux. So, server-based networks. The server is the key to this type. Centralized control of resources, utilize faster processor, more memory, and extra performance. Siguro mas ma-appreciate natin ng server-based networks to the next supporter since we will be discussing the topologies based on this. Pero yun nga, ang concept natin is the server, siya yung nag-utilize ng mga process. Okay? Server security, we have physical access to the network, to the server, specialized entry servers, domain models, account names, passwords, and firewalls. Server-based advantage, central security account access, simplified network administration, powerful efficient access to the resources, single password for each user, and best for high use or user networks. Anong ibig sabihin nito? So, for the server-based advantages, pwede tayo mag-customize ng certain users for certain access. Pwede tayo gumawa ng regular user or pwede tayo gumawa ng mga super users for higher access of levels. Okay, so meron tayong simplified network administration, meaning everything is controlled by the server, powerful efficient access to resources. So file sharing and everything will still be controlled by the server. Single password for each user. Yung nga yung sabi ko kanina for the individual users, and best for high use user networks. Okay, server-based disadvantages. Ito yung mga disadvantages. Server failure results in unusable network. Pag nag-crash yung server, syempre wala lahat yung files natin. Server failure results in loss of resources, expert staff to manage and increase cost. Again, hindi lang isang tao. Meron tayo multiple users to control the network. Dedicated hardware to increase cost and dedicated software to increase cost. Okay, all of these disadvantages are or can be covered with pera lang naman. Okay? So, pag unstable, maghanap ng fail-safe server, kailangan ng tao, mag-hire ng tao, kailangan ng bagong hardware, bumili ng hardware, software, ganun din. So, pera lang siya. So, again, let's go to hardware. Okay? So, discuss natin ang basic parts of the network. We have the UTP cables, hub, switches, router, bridge, gateway, firewall, and wireless access points, or AP. Start with the network. Let's start with the UTP cable. UTP cable stands for Unshielded Twisted Personing. Ito na bago yung title. Yan. Ito yung unshielded twisted pair. Tinatawag natin UTP cable. Pero siguro i-discuss ko yung difference. Kasi usually may konting confusion siya pag nakarinig kayo. Uy, Cat4 ba yan? Cat5? Discuss natin lahat ng mga cat na yan. Okay? So, CAT stands for category. So, CAT1 or category 1 is a typical use for telephone wire. Okay? So, pang telephone lang po siya. CAT3, 4, 5 cables are actually 4 pairs of unshielded twisted copper wires, and CAT5 has more twists per inch than CAT3. Therefore, can run at higher speeds and greater lengths. So kung makikita nyo dito sa picture, no, meron siya kaya tinawag na shielded twisting pairs, meron siya mga pares ng wires na nakaikot. So pag dumadami or mas marami ang twist niya, mas bumibilis, mas lumalaki yung capability at a greater length or mas mahabang range. So the more popular Cat5 wire was later on replaced by the Cat5e specifications, which provide improved cross-talk specifications allowing to support speeds up to 1 gigabyte per second. So this is the internet speed is bumilis siya. So nagkaroon na tayo ng panibagong classification, which is the Cat5e. And we have the Cat6 as a standard. So ito yung mga ginagamit ngayon standard. However, bago tayo mag-proceed, no, let me warn you, Cat6 is available naman sa market. Pero again, sasabihin ng gusto niyo magtayo ng network, sasabihin ng mga bibili. Sir, okay lang po ba magkabit ng Cat4 at saka Cat6 na? Sabihin, okay lang yan, wala problema. No, hindi okay yun. Kasi ang Cat4 ay kitang-kita niyo yung difference ng speed niya compared to Cat6. So na-try ko na rin po yan and it's not good. Okay, hindi siya preferred to use. Okay, so again, Cat6 as a standard, however, it's important to note that all cabling components, yung jack, patches, panels, etc., must be Cat6. Yun sinasabi ko, no? Kailangan daw maging Cat6 din. Certified and extra caution must be given to the proper termination of the cable ends. Yun nga lang, usually hindi na ako nag-crimp. Ginagawa ko, bumibili na ako ng crimp. Kasi ang Cat6, kung mapapansin nyo yung ano nga pa yung tawag sa dulo? RG45, yung mga tama na yun, kinikrip natin. Okay, bakal. So, hindi na siya katulad dati ng plastic na gagamitan mo lang ng crimping tool, okay na. No, that's Cat 4. Cat 6, mapapansin mo kagad, iba na yung shielding niya at iba na rin yung limit. Jack yata ang tawag doon. Anyway, siguro somebody can help you with that. Yun. So, bakal na siya, no? Hindi na siya plastic. And we have the latest, which is Cat 7, Sigma copper cable specifications designed to support speeds up to 10 gigabytes per second at lengths of up to 100 meters. Ito yung pinakabago pero honestly, hindi ko pa siya na-encounter sa market. Siguro meron siya mabibilan pero hindi ko pa siya nakikita. No? Pero yun nga, bago lang to. So, ang kinagandaan niya is 10 gigabytes per second, almost 10 times faster than Cat 6 and supports up to 100 meters. However, ang Cat 6, I think I have tried at least 20 meters, meron ako nabili. Pero sabi ng documentation is around up to 50 meters. Okay. So we have network hubs and data from one computer to another, to all other computers in the network, operates on layer 1 of the OSI modem, acts as a repeater for signal passing through and declining in the use in favor of switches and routers. So, yun nga, no? We have the network hub, ginagamit natin siya to simply connect using, siguro nakita natin sa side, we have the cables. So, yun nga lang. By the way, what is the OSI model? Discuss natin yan later pagkatapos. So, declining use in favor of the switches and routers. Ano ibig sabihin? Ibig sabihin, nung dumating si switch, or switch hub at si router, hindi na siya ginagamit. Bakit? Alamin natin. Sunod. Sa switches, we have relay traffic using layer 2 address. Okay, o yung OSI layer. Contains software that supports building of routing tables. So one of the reasons why is meron na raw siyang software. Unlike sa yung kaninang hub, talagang ano lang siya, no? Physical layer lang siya, meaning connect lang tayo, parang nagsaksak lang tayo ng cable sa ating electric port. Substantial improvement over the hub and used to join multiple computers on the LAN. Ayan, so siya yung usually ginagamit. Ngayon, we have the switch or the switch hub. Okay, we have bridges, similar to switch hub in function, used to combine two or more independent networks to a single unit, usually associated with LAN device using MAC address and operates on OSI layers 1 and 2. So OSI layer 1 and 2 na siya. I think bridges somehow, hindi nakakakita dito, pero this is already replaced by yung susunod nating hardware. Pero again, ginagamit ito. For example, meron tayong dalawang setup ng LAN, kinakabit natin siya. Kung mapapansin nyo, may dalawang port yan. So, yun yung ginagamit natin para mag-interconnect yung dalawang LAN. And we have the routers, more powerful than hub switches or bridges. Ito na yung pinakabago natin. Bakit? It can also act as a hub for connecting switch hubs and can also be used as a gateway and pwede rin siya mag-connect as for the wireless. Okay. Principal operations is OSI layer 3 with IP address, often configured as firewalls, utilize extensive networks management features, kasi may program at mga routers. Okay. Siguro different topic na yun, pero there's a certain way to access the router and to configure it to handle multiple networks. Yun na lang. Can be configured to operate as bridges, gaya na sinabi ko kanina, used to connect to multiple computers together as a LAN and provide connection to one. So yun, pwede natin siyang gamitin to connect multiple LANs and to connect to one or to connect to the internet. Yan, ito yung OSI layer, verifications natin. So ano ba yung mga OSI layer? Pero bago yun, ano ba nang ibig sabihin ng OSI? The Open System Interconnection or the OSI model describes 7 layers. So 7 layers po pala yan. That computer systems use to communicate over a network. It was the first standard model for network communications adopted by all major computers and telecommunication companies in the early 1980s. Okay. So yung pag sinabi natin OSI layer 1, that is physical layer, transmit raw bit stream over physical. data OSI layer 2 or the data link layer defines the format of the data network. At ito yung ating OSI layer 3 or the network layer decides the physical path of the data will take. Then we have 4, 5, 6, 7, the transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. I think I will not be discussing this kasi it will be tackled probably by other reporters. Okay? So we have the wireless access point o yung WAP. Ito yung ginagamit natin. So connects wired and wireless networks. So usually this is the router. Operates an IEEE 802.11 specifications. And may terms na naman tayo. Discuss din natin yan later. Many routers have WAP features and integrated. WAP features integrated into them. So yun nga, router yun nasa picture natin. And used to connect wireless devices over a network. Ayan, clarifications. What does IEEE stands for? It's the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. Okay, so 802 refers to the family of specifications developed by the way, IEEE is a company na develop for protocols for those particular specifications. Okay, so nasa gilid natin yung 802.11. Hindi ko alam paano basahin siya, pero 802.11 family. So meron siya yung 802 that applies to wireless, provides 1 to 2 Mbps. So ang in a nutshell, ginagamit lang yung mga mga versions A, B, C, etc. kung mas mabilis yung for example, the 802.11g applies to the LAN and used for transmission over the shortest distance up to 54 Mbps na 2.4 GHz. So nasa nasa wireless connection over the bands, yung tinatawag. Hindi ito tumutugtog na bansa, yung frequency, right? We have the gateways. Network node used to interface with networks using other protocol. Can operate at any network level, serves as an access point to another network, and usually integrated into other hardware. So gateways, siya yung nagpapasok sa atin sa different protocols and different LAN. Firewalls. Protect computers from unauthorized access. So firewall, hindi natin ito nakikita na is a program. Okay, para meron tayong restriction. Hardware, software based. Pwede, meron kasi tayong hardware ay na-encounter ko ito before. Parang itsura ni switch hub din, pero may design siya ng konti. Wala, ganito, para to restriction. Meron din naman tayong software based. So, ano mas maganda, basically, for me, hardware ako kasi mas maano ang hardware. Mas discreet siya pagdating. Sa software kasi, ako sa paniniwala ko, nothing is unhackable. Lahat yan pwedeng i-bypass. Ang hardware, medyo mahirap lang siyang i-bypass. Okay? Often integrated into routers and switches. Yan yung natin. Firewalls natin is software or program na i-integrate natin sa routers or switches. Pag hardware siya, kinakabit din natin siya sa routers and switches. Okay, so in a nutshell, ito yung ating LAN. We have the router, we have the switch, we have the WAP or the wireless application. Ito yung band natin sa 802.11. And we have the switch hubs connected to the switch. We have the switch connected to hubs, and the hubs are connected to computers. Meron tayong nakabridge. So this is all a part of the this is local area network standard, pero pangkalahatan na siya. Okay, so that's it. Thank you.
Okay, for any clarifications or questions po, pwede po nating erase yung
Okay, but prior to that question, sir, kindly share your screen again, yung first page.
Wait lang, sir.
Okay, so in addition with the discussion of your classmate, yes. Again, through network, no, we are globally connected. No? So, networks affect the way we interact, learn, work, and play. No? So, we have LANs, WANs, and internet. So, through network, of course, we have different topologies. Later on, I think next meeting, somebody were assigned to discuss the topologies and devices are connected in small to medium-sized business network. So, another thing that we need to consider, of course, that there is certain changing for the network environment. So we have the trends in networking that will affect the use of networks in small and medium size businesses, as I mentioned. The trends such as BYOD, online collaboration, video and cloud computing are changing the way we interact. Networking technologies are changing the home environment at the same time. No? Some basic security threats and solutions for both small and large networks. And it is important to understand the switching and routing infrastructure of a network. Now, as I mentioned earlier, no, network is present every day in our lives, no? So as during our first discussion, no, especially during your undergraduate program, we are always saying, "Welcome to the world where we are more powerful together than we ever could apart." So at the same time, no, we live in the world we barely imagined 20 years ago. So we have without the internet, and what will be possible in the future using the network as the platform. So what are maybe somebody asking no boundaries, right? Advancement in networking technologies are helpful creating a world without boundaries. The immediate nature of communications, no, over the internet encourage global communities. And some agencies or industry refers to the impact of internet and networks on the people or the human network. Maybe, no, how networks support the way we learn. So do you remember setting in a classroom, no, and you don't have to be in school anymore to take a class, you don't have to be in classroom to have a teacher. Okay? So the globalization of the internet has empowered individuals to create information that can be accessed globally. So what are the forms of communication available at present? We have texting, social media, collaboration tools, blogs, wikis, and the podcasting. So how networks support the way we work? So data networks have evolved into helping support at the way we work. So at present, now at this pandemic, we have online learning opportunities which decrease costly and time-consuming travel. It can improve training, no, is becoming more cost effective, no. So at present, no, we listen to music, watch movies, read books, and download material for future offline access. Like networks allow online gaming in ways that were not possible 20 years ago. Offline activities have also been enhanced by networks, including global communities for a wide range of hobbies and interests. So how do you play on the internet? So network of many sizes. So we have a small home networks, which is connect a few computers to each other and the internet. We have a small office or home office, which enable computers with a home or remote office to connect to a corporate network. We have also a medium to large networks, many locations with hundreds or thousands of interconnected computers. and at the same time the worldwide networks, which connect hundreds of millions of computers worldwide, such as the internet. So, providing resources in a network. So, as what our presenter earlier mentioned about clients and server. So, every computer connected to a network is called the host or end device. So, servers are computers that provide information to end services, to end devices on the network. So, for example, email servers, web servers, or file servers. Clients are computers that send requests to the server to retrieve information such as web page from a web server or email from an email server. Now, so providing resources and network, di ba, we have a peer-to-peer, right? Wherein the client and server software usually runs on separate computers. However, in small businesses or homes, it is typical for a client to also functions as the server. And these networks are called peer-to-peer networks. Okay? So peer-to-peer networking advantages, easy to set up, less complex, and of course, lower cost. So what will be the disadvantage for peer-to-peer? No? No centralized administration, not as secure and not scalable. And of course, with a slower performance. Now, how about the overview of the network components as discussed also with our presenter earlier? A network can be as simple as a single cable connecting two computers or a complex as collection of networks that span the globe. In network infrastructure contains three broad categories of network components. So we have devices, of course, media, and the services. Now, the end devices, no, an end device is where a message originates from or where it is received. Because data originates with an end device, flows through the network and arrives at an end device. Now, how about the intermediary network devices? The intermediary device interconnects end services and devices in a network. So example is as what our presenter mentioned, switches, wireless access points, routers, and firewalls. The management of data as it flows through a network is also the role of the intermediary device, including regenerate and retransmit data signals, maintain information about what pathways exist through the network and internetwork, and notify other devices of errors and communication failures. Now, how about the network media? No? Communication across a network is carried through a medium which allows a message to travel from one source to destination. No? Networks typically use three types of media. What are those? Metallic wires within cables such as copper, no? Glass such as fiber optic cables, and the wireless transmission. The network representation, of course, we have network diagrams or often called topology diagrams. Use symbol to represent devices within the network. In addition to the device representation on the right, it is important to remember and understand the following terms. Yung NIC, no? Network Interface Card, Physical Port, and the interface. Now, the topology probe diagrams, we need to take note that the key difference between the two the topology diagrams, no, specifically with the physical location of device and versus ports and network addressing scheme. It's also important. So the most common types of networks, of course, we have LAN, which is a span a small geographic area owned or operated by an individual or IT department, and we have WAN, no, the wide area networking or wide area network. Span a large geographic area, typically involving a telecommunication service provider. Other types of network, we have MAN, WLAN, storage area networking, or SAN, and so on. So, what are the three characteristics of a local area network? So, of course, we have, when we say LAN, it spans a small geographic area such as home, school, office, building, or campus, and usually administered by single organization or individual. And it provides high-speed bandwidth to end and intermediary devices without the network. How about the WAN? What are the three characteristics of WAN? So WAN interconnected LANs, no, of course, over wide geographic areas such as between cities, states, or countries. Usually administered, of course, by multiple service providers. And WANs typically provide a slower speed link between LANs. Okay? How about the internet, intranet, and extranet? No? So sometimes even some faculty or teachers or even some practitioners, no, especially the student, no, they have a misconception about internet, intranet, and extranet. Again, no, the internet is a worldwide collection of interconnected LANs and WANs. LANs are connected to each other using WANs. No? So WANs or wide area network are then connected to each other using copper wires, fiber optic cables, and wireless transmission. The internet is not owned by any individual or group. However, the following groups were developed to help maintain structured. Ano po yon? IETF, ICANN, yung ICANN, and IAB. Now, so, intranets, in extranets, unlike the internet, an intranet is a private collection of LANs and WANs. Again, an intranet is a private collection of LANs and WANs internal to an organization that is meant to be accessible only to the organization members or other with authorization. An organization might use an extranet, no, to provide secure access to their network for individuals who work for a different organizations that need access to their data on their network. So for example, they have a third party, no, third party for cloud, no, and so on. Or for example, in specifically in school, they have, for example, a third party handling their LMS, no, and so on. Now, the internet access technologies, there are many ways to connect users and organizations to the internet. Of course, the popular service for homes users and small offices include broadband cable, broadband digital subscriber line, or the DSL. Wireless ones, of course, and mobile services. Uh, Organizations need faster connection to support IP phones, video conferencing, and data center storage. Because business class interconnections are usually provided by service providers and may include business DSL, list lines, and metro Ethernet. Now, for the home and small office internet connection, of course, we have cable, right? High bandwidth, always on, internet connections offered by cable television service providers. The DSL, high bandwidth, always on, internet connection that runs over a telephone line. On the other hand, no, cellular uses a cell phone network to connect to the internet, only available where you can get a cellular signal. We have, of course, the satellite, no? The major benefit to rural areas without internet service providers. And we have dial-up telephone. So an inexpensive low bandwidth option using a modem. Now, how about the business internet connection? Corporate business connection may require higher bandwidth, dedicated connections, or managed services. And typical connection option for businesses like dedicated list line, because the DLL, no, reserved circuits within the service provider's network that connect distance offices with private voice and or data networking. Some businesses also use Ethernet 1, no, extend local area network access technology into the wide area networking or wide area network. Of course, some also using DSL or business DSL, available in various formats including symmetric digital subscriber lines or SDSL. Then satellite, of course, can provide a connection when a wired solution is not available. How about the network platform? No? We have the traditional separate networks, right? So an example of multiple network might be a school 30 years ago. Some schools were cabled for data networks, and those same classroom were cabled for telephone networks and also cabled separately for video. Each of these networks use different technologies to carry the communication signal using a different set of rules and standards. The converging network, no, converged data networks carry multiple services on one link, no, including data, voice, and video. Unlike dedicated networks, converged networks can deliver data, voice, and video between different types of devices over the same network infrastructure. The converging network, its network infrastructure uses the same set of rules and, of course, a standard. How about the network architecture or the reliable network? The network architecture, of course, it refers to the technologies that support the infrastructure that moves data across the network. And as far as I remember, there are four basic characteristics that underlying architectures need to address to meet user expectation. No, during our time, no, especially during our during my BSCS program, no, computer architecture, no, something like that. Uh, we discussed, no, and our professor give more emphasis, no, on the fault tolerance, scalability, quality of service, and the security. Now that is a reliable network. When we say fault tolerance, no, a fault tolerant network limits the impact of a failure by limiting the number of affected devices. It also multiple paths required for fault tolerance. Reliable networks provide redundancy, no, by implementing a packet switch network, because packet switching splits traffic into packets that are routed over a network, and each packet could theoretically take a different path to the destination. And this is not possible with circuit switch network, which established dedicated circuits. Now, when it comes to scalability, no, a scalable network can expand quickly and easily to support new users in applications without impacting the performance of services to existing users. The network designers follow accepted standard and protocol in order to make the network scalable. But when it comes to quality of service, voice and live video transmission required higher expectation for those services being delivered. And maybe you ever watched a live video with constant breaks and pauses. Now, this causes when there is a higher demand for bandwidth than available and quality of service isn't configured. Okay? Quality of service, of course, is the primary mechanism used to ensure reliable delivery of content for all users. With a quality of service policy in place, the router can more easily manage the flow of data and voice traffic. Okay? How about the security? That is also another concerns, no? Uh, there are two main types of network security that must be addressed. Number one, of course, is the network infrastructure security. Because physical security of network devices, no, preventing unauthorized access to the management software on those devices. And the other one is information security, no, protection of the information or data transmitted over or via network. So, what will be the goal on network security? I don't know if you're familiar with CIA. Okay? CIA, we have confidentiality, no? Only intended recipients can read the data. That is confidentiality, no? Especially at present, no, we have Data Privacy 2012, no? The Data Privacy Act of 2012, no? The confidentiality, that's the CIA, then we have availability, no, assurance of timely and reliable access to data for authorized users. Now, how about the changing network environment or the network trends? The role of the network must adjust and continually transform in order to be able to keep up with new technologies and end user devices as they constantly come to the market. No? So several new networking trends that affect organization and consumers. So as I mentioned earlier, we have BYOD, no? I think some companies adopted this BYOD, no? Bring your own device. The online collaborations, the video communications, and of course, cloud computing. When it comes to bring your own device, actually this is a major global trend that allows users to use their own devices, giving them more opportunity and greater flexibility. BYOD allows end users to have the freedom to use personal tools to access information and to communicate using their laptops, notebooks, tablets, smartphones, and e-readers. No? So the online collaboration, an individual want to collaborate and work with others over the network on joint projects. The collaboration tools include, I don't know if you're familiar with Cisco WebEx, no? Gives user a way to instantly connect, interact, and achieve their objective. A collaboration is a very high priority for business and in education. How about the video communication? In Cisco, they have also telepresence powers, the new way of working where everyone, everywhere can be more productive through face-to-face collaboration. Around the world each day, the Cisco transform organization by transforming their customer experience. How about the network trends in cloud computing? So cloud computing is a global trend that allow us to store personal files or back up our data on servers over the internet. Applications such as word processing and photo editing can also be accessed using the cloud. No? Because cloud computing also allows businesses to extend their capabilities on demand and delivered automatically to any device anywhere in the world. Through cloud computing, it is made possible by data centers. Smaller companies that can't afford their own data center, less server and storage services from larger data center organization in the cloud. Excuse. What are the four types of clouds? So we have public clouds, right? No? Services and applications are made available to the general public through a pay per use model or for free. No? We have private clouds. No? Application and services are intended for a specific organization or entity such as the government. We have, of course, hybrid clouds, no? Made up two or more cloud types. For example, part custom and part public. Each part remains a distinctive object, but both are connected using the same architecture. And another one is the custom clouds, no? How about the technology trends in the home? Now, smart home technology is a growing trend that allows technology to be integrated into everyday appliances, which allow them to interconnect with other devices. So ovens might know what time to cook a meal for you by communicating with your calendar on what time you are scheduled to be home. No? So how about the power line networking? The power line networking can allow devices to connect to a LAN where data network cables or wireless communications are not a viable option. Using a standard power line adapter, devices can connect to the LAN whenever there is an electrical outlet by sending data on certain frequencies. The wireless broadband, actually, in addition to DSL and cable, no, wireless is another option used to connect homes and small business or businesses to the internet. More commonly found in rural environments, a wireless internet service providers or WISP is an ISP that connects subscriber to designated access points or hotspots. No? Wireless broadband is another solution for the home in small businesses. Uses the same cellular technology used by a smartphone. An antenna is installed outside the house, providing wireless or wired connectivity for devices in the home. How about the security threats? No, the network security or security threats. Network security is an integral part of networking regardless of the size of the network. No? The network security that is implemented must take into account the environment while securing the data, but is still allowing for quality of service that is expected of the network. So, securing a network involves many protocols, technologies, devices, tools, and techniques in order to secure data and mitigate threats. Threat vectors might be external or internal. The external threats, so like viruses, no, worms, Trojan horse, no, spyware and adware, no, zero-day attacks, also called zero-hour attacks, hackers attack, okay, denial of service attacks, data interception and theft, and identity theft, identify theft, no. The internal threats, no, whether intentional or not, many studies show that the internal users of the network cause the most security breaches. So, with BYOD strategies, corporate data is more vulnerable. Okay? The security must be implemented in multiple layers using more than one security solutions. The network security components per home or a small office network, no? Common naman, di ba? Antivirus and anti-spyware software. It must be installed on end devices, no? Firewall filtering, no, used to block unauthorized access to the network. The larger networks have additional security requirements, no? Because they need dedicated firewall system to provide more advanced firewall capabilities. The ACL also, no, the access control list, no, used to further filter access and traffic forwarding. We have also IPS, no, intrusion prevention systems, no. It used to identify fast spreading threats, no, such as zero-day attacks. And also the common, the VPN or the virtual private networks, no. It used naman to provide secure access for remote workers. And of course, one of a I think advisable and most commonly used or available in the market at present is the Cisco network architecture. No? In order for network to function while efficiently supporting connections of people, devices, and information in a media rich converged environment, the network must be built upon a standard network architecture. So, network architecture refers to the devices, connections, and products that are integrated to support the necessary technologies and application. Of course, the foundation of all network architecture include the internet, are routers and switches. So, actually, no, the Cisco also provide a certification, no, yung CCNA. But I think costly. So they have a certification for CCENT like Cisco Certified Entry Networks, IPv4 and IPv6 routing and wide area network technologies as well as LAN switching and infrastructure services and maintenance. Okay, so I think that's it for the topic of Sir So if you have some additional inputs or if you have questions with our presenter, yes, go ahead.